Welcome to Return to Consciousness. I had some realizations today, and I thought that I would talk them through, I guess. Return to Consciousness is new to me, and it's been a process, and it's been a long time coming. And so to share myself on the internet is something that I have been working on for a very long time. And so I am just letting myself be clumsy in the beginning, and I'm figuring things out as I go. I'm doing my best to follow my spirit, follow my guidance without hesitation, and I still have hesitancy in me. So I'm being honest, and I'm being honest mostly with myself. And with any spiritual path, and when you're wanting to develop spiritually and to anchor yourself and ground yourself in this physical body, have embodiment while being connected to your spirit, and all the words that you want to use that explain ascension or whatever you want to call it. There's just so many words for it. Just being a good human, being a good being a good person, and developing and growing and evolving, and mostly remembering who you are. To me, that's what returning to consciousness is. It is the journey. It is the path that we are on together and primarily individually. And I was listening to Conversations with God, I believe is what it's called, and it's by Neale Donald Walsch. It's not the first time I've listened to it. It's not unfamiliar to me. But sometimes it's really nice to have things that appear in your life that maybe you thought you knew and that you just kind of wrote off. And you said, oh, well, I know all that. So yes, been there, done that. But there are some times where there's layers to things. And there are times when it's important on a spiritual journey to have humility, to not lie to yourself, to be humble, to tell yourself when you're lying to yourself, and tell yourself when you're being egotistical. And it's important for you to call yourself out when you see yourself doing something that is not in alignment with who you are and who you know yourself to be. No one is here that will do it. You are the only person that is always inside of you, watching you, hearing you. And so if you're lying to yourself, then you're lying. How can you be ever truthful to anyone? How can you live in integrity? So, and that's a part of a spiritual set point. It's an evolutionary set point on your spiritual journey. And it's a moment when you decide, hey, I'm going to be honest with myself. I don't necessarily need to tell other people, even though there's a moment in right action where it's best for you to be honest with others. But what is most and primarily important is for you to be honest and truthful with yourself, which can be really difficult because your ego really doesn't want to admit that it's wrong. Your personality really doesn't like that feeling of being put on the spot and feeling shame or embarrassment. And it's less about the shame and embarrassment. It's more about the integrity. It's about feeling truthful. And when you're more in truth and when you're honest with yourself, you're more aligned with your soul. You're more aligned with whatever you call God, your God's source. your origin, your spiritual origin, and your physical origin. It's so hard for me, if I can be honest, to sit in front of a camera and talk about this stuff, because I have really withheld my perspective of the world, or how I see things, and my own insights, and how I think and how I see and observe the world, because ever since I was born, I have always known that I saw through this world through a different lens than everyone around me. And it was very, very clear to me that the lens through which others were seeing was not the same lens through which I was seeing and perceiving. And so I felt very alone, even within I would consider my parents to be very advanced for their time. But even with them, I felt very alone, and that when I said an observation, it was always someone else's. It's something that I had taken from somewhere, or if it was someone else's, if it sounded like someone else, it was theirs. When you just see through a certain lens, and it's very clear to you that the illusion that people have created around them, and you see right through that illusion, spiritual truths are simple. And so in essence, every master, every person is a master. So there's no separation. There's no higher and lower. We're all on our remembering journey. But what I'm trying to get at here is that when you're able to see through the illusion more than others, and like I have, and it's hard for me to say that because it feels like it would come from ego. And that's what's painful for me, is that when I say how I see things, and I'm getting a ringing in my ear as I'm saying it, because this is, my higher self going, yes, this is what you need to say. You need to say this in front of people and share this. When you see through the illusion and you show others and you say, hey, that's an illusion, and this is, often you are the messenger that is targeted, and you are the messenger that is targeted. It is the messenger that is decapitated. It is the messenger that is shot out of anger, simply, and frustration, and you just riled up my feathers, and you pointed and pushed a button that was painful, and why do you have the right to show me the pain point in my life? And I just go, oops. So I learned from a young age to stay quiet, to not show who I really was, to play human, to it's so funny to use that word, play human. This is this is difficult for me. But I'm working on this, and this is my, honestly, pushing play and sitting in front of a camera, or pushing record and sitting in front of a camera and sharing this is my spiritual development path. And I've reached a point in my spiritual evolution where in order for me to evolve myself on my own personal journey, I have to do this. There you go. So here I am. You're witnessing me showing up and following my spirit, following my personal soul evolutionary path. Even though it's uncomfortable for me, and even though I have physical and spiritual fear around this, because I've been in this position before in previous lifetimes, on and off. I'm not going to even say that. Previous lifetimes. I'm just going to say previous lifetimes. And I wasn't fully able to complete that journey in those previous lifetimes. And so I'm here, and in order to move forward in my personal journey with my relationship, with my own development, there are certain things, steps and stages that I have to go through. And a part of that is owning being a leader. Yeah, I just want to freak out when I say that. So that makes me really uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable showing my face. It makes me uncomfortable being real. And I feel I have to share this journey, this part of me of being authentic and vulnerable, and my lesson and my journey right now, and what I'm here to heal, is trusting that who I truly am, and what the light that I truly hold, and the being that I truly am, is safe in the arms of humanity. And that is a big leap and a big trust thing for me, to actually step out. Like, I feel constriction in my throat. I feel tension in my diaphragm. I feel in my body a nervousness. And even though I'm feeling these things in my body, I know that it's energy being confronted and released, and that there's a purging happening, and that I can feel these fears and I can feel these resistances and these blockages, but I can make the choice that I follow and take action and speak from that place of fear, or I feel that fear and then I bring in the gratitude and I bring in the love frequency, and I hold that equally within myself, love and fear, so that the fear can reattune itself to the frequency of love. And because fear is equally God, as is love. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I also know I want to like resist saying this. Excuse me. I know that there are people that have been looking for me, and that I have an agreement to be a way shower or a leader for certain people, that I'm here to go, hey, remember who you are. I remember we had an agreement that I would take this position, that you would click on this video, that you would that I would show up for you. Whew. I am fulfilling my agreement that I made to a large group of people. This is wow. The constriction in my voice, in my throat. I am fulfilling an agreement that I made with a large group of people, that I would show up and that I would be in a leadership position, and that I would own my leadership position, and I would show up for you because you're looking for me, because we have this agreement that has been unfulfilled. I haven't been able to fulfill it in many lifetimes. And so in order for me to heal and grow, I have to fulfill being a leader and showing up for a group of people that are looking for me. And I hear you. I've heard you for years. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to step out of my own personal intensity, my own personal self-orientedness, and my own healing, and my own blockages, and my own all the stuff that I've been processing being in a physical body on this planet in this incarnation. I am sorry that I haven't been able to step forward and release my fears, confront my fears until now. So here I am, I'm showing up, and I connect with you all with my heart. And I recognize, and I want to say that I honor you, and I respect you, and I love you. And I've been hearing you for years, and I apologize for not showing up for you sooner. But better late than never, or maybe this is on time, who knows, in all the big scheme of things. And thank you for allowing me to be honest and real, and for letting me go through my own healing journey so that I can serve you the best that I can for this moment that I'm showing up for you. Because I couldn't have shown up for you any sooner, because I was so broken and fractured by this incarnational experience and the things that happened. I had to become who I am now and to experience all those things in order to best show up for you as I agreed to. So I feel like that's a big weight off of my spiritual incarnation. Like, that's like a major life point that I just reached. So thank you for witnessing this, and thank you for your patience. And I'm going to do my best to share from, I've been told to be a leader, to embody who I am, and to show you how I see the world in an unbiased way, meaning like releasing all of the conditions that I put on myself of that, the way I perceive the world. Like, I have to confront the fear of being a messenger that is killed for the message that they bring. And that is what I'm here to heal. And I am just going to feel the fear, and I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to allow myself to vibrate in the frequency of love while feeling the fear. And that's what I'm going to do. And I hope that inspires you, that whatever in your life you are experiencing resistance with, that you are able to tune into that feeling of resistance within your body, that constriction, and allow yourself to feel the gratitude, the vibrational, emotional, mental image of gratitude, alongside that really intense vibration and emotion of fear and constriction in the body. And that to recognize when you are feeling a fear that is a need to listen to it, as in you're in immediate danger and you need to do something about it, versus this is a trauma coming up and this is a constriction or a blockage that is that I am in resistance to, that there's a part of me that's in constriction or resistance, or the part of me that has been not fed by source for a while, that I haven't allowed fresh prana, mana, chi, energy to flow into. And this is a part of myself that needs more love. Therefore, let me thank it and be grateful for it. And thank you for fear for showing me where I need to heal. Thank you, fear. Thank you for this resistance, this feeling of resistance, so that I can pay attention and go, oh, hello, thank you. This is where I needed healing. This is where I need to put some focus. And how can I see this situation in a vision, in a perspective through the lens of growth and evolution, and not attach too much meaning to it, and instead allow it to breathe and open and get more energy there instead of further constriction. However you wish to interpret that. So what inspired this was listening to Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God, the first couple chapters, as I was driving down to the LAX airport. And I had a confrontation at the LAX airport. I was in super high vibration. I was feeling super high vibe from listening to this book, and I was like, yeah, I'm totally in this high vibe. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the constriction in my body and the free flow of energy and existing together, and they were like commingling, and there was loosening and blockages taking place because of the free flow of energy. It was just like the fear and the love were coinciding, and they were moving, and I was feeling really great. I was feeling awesome driving through LA. And when I got there, I had a feeling that I needed to go one way and park, but I didn't go along with it. Like the free flow energy, flow energy was drawing me towards, I'm going to park and I'm going to allow myself to go to the bathroom because I have a long drive back. And then I got convinced that I needed to go and not park and do something else and go right up and pick up my passenger. And it was not in alignment with me, but I didn't realize it. So I was making a decision as I was driving home. I processed the experience and I was like, oh, I was making a decision from victimhood, that I was allowing some other and wanting to be controlled. I want someone to tell me what to do. Because what happened is I went up to pick up my passenger and they were literally like 30, 40 seconds away from me, maybe a minute. And I pulled up and I was about to be, and I might have gotten a ticket. Who knows if they send it to my address or not. But this guy who was, forcing like the airport, not police, but like they manage like to make sure people are moving. And as soon as I pulled up, he came over to my window and said, "You've been here too long." And I had literally pulled up like 10 seconds beforehand, and he was flashing his light in my window, and I was like, I literally just came up and I'm picking up my passenger. They're coming out of that doorway, and he's like, "Which passenger?" And I was like, and it was just this interaction, and I was like, why is this constriction happening? And I was like, I literally just pulled up here 10 seconds ago. So it felt like I felt that feeling of I was being real honest, and I was being told that I wasn't being honest. And it's because that there's so many people coming there that he instantly was treating me as if I was being not honest. And he was treating me like, so it's like this authority figure has the right to give me a penalty for something that they think I did, yet I didn't do. And I was being so honest and direct, and I was like, literally, my person's right there. If you just let me wait 1 minute, then I can like pick them up. And it went from like them telling me to leave and then them all like starting to write a ticket and look at my VIN number. And I was like, I never have. My life is so usually in such a flow. And so to have that experience was so shocking to me, because it's almost like usually I'm in an invisibility where those people just don't ever see me. And I was like, why is it today? Why is it in this situation that I manifested this interaction? And I know that the world outside of me mirrors my internal world and shows me what kind of mentality and lens and vibrational state that I'm currently in and that I'm operating from. And so I was doing my best to clear the energy from it and everything. I finally like picked up my passenger and everything, but on my drive home, I was listening and I was like, why, let me take responsibility for this. Why did this, I started thanking the person, the policeman dude with the flashlight in my head. I was like going back into that moment. I was thanking the person and I was like, thank you. What is your message for me? Thank you. It was me taking responsibility, being humble and going, maybe like, what did I do? Why did I attract you in my life? Like just going back into that moment and thanking them and just being like, okay, please, I'm willing to receive, to see that which I am not seeing. So please show that to me. And what came up was that in Lester Levinson is a very special person that I've come to learn about, and I could do a whole video on him and his work and his processes, and I really or just his basic philosophy. And I probably will at some point because it's pretty profound, and I return to it a lot. The basic fear and love and thanking and gratitude, as well as understanding, okay, what was this experience? Was it approval, need for approval, my need for approval? Was it my need for security? Was it my need for control? And approval, security, and control have two sides to them. It's either that you are wanting to control or wanting to be controlled, wanting approval or wanting to be disapproved of, and wanting to be secure or to be insecure. So that's the polarity side of them. And they relate to the first three chakras, which are the primary areas where we are processing massive, like where our spiritual energy is entering matter and it's in conflict and it's purging and clearing and trying to work things out. It's where a lot of the karma that we experience is actually coming up from billions of lifetimes. So these three principles are usually like at the fundamentals of what you are experiencing karmically, or another word is just simply, if you don't like karma, a constriction or an intense experience in your life, like a health issue or just a relationship issue, like issues or confrontations or some kind of conflict in your life, goes, if you follow the thread, it returns to one of these three core building blocks of origins of constriction, blockages, and like karma. And it's helpful to, at least for me, to follow that thread so that I can not see the story that I've placed upon the situation. So I have the story. The story is, oh, this person mistrusted me and they think something onto me and it's all their fault and I'm like, poor me. oh, they did everything to me. But that's coming from a victim mentality. And being an empowered spiritual human, it's all about empowering yourself, knowing that you are a creator, that you are God, that you are God's source, embodied and manifest. And that you've never been disconnected from God or God's source. You are God's source. Even the matter of your body is God's source. and acting from that. And that you're responsible for what you have in your life and what you attract. And you are responsible for the conflicts. You're responsible for being a victim. You're responsible for being an aggressor. You are responsible for being a rescuer, an enabler. You are responsible for being in the victim triangle, the victim, aggressor, rescuer, a triangle. You are responsible for standing in that. And it's you that will get out of it. No one's going, you can't rely on a rescuer to come and get you, because that's still being in a victim triangle. And you can even say that me standing up here, being a leader, being someone that is being in the spotlight and influencing others and showing that there's a different another path, that is also being an enabler and a rescuer in a certain sense. But there's also right livelihood, right leadership, where you're actually stepping into a role where it's necessary and where there's actual personal growth. So there's all different layers to this, and that's the whole tangent that I went on. But so I had to take responsibility and be honest with myself that I had stepped into a victim mentality by not following what I truly needed and what I felt needed to happen, by going to, and I needed to park. And I had all these things in my head. Oh, it's going to cost money. Why would I do that? Oh, I'm not doing what another person wants. Oh, and I just can't, but I stepped out of the flow of my empowerment and following my guidance and following my natural intuition. And therefore I stepped out of my own empowerment and manifested an experience that would go, hey, you are in victimhood. When are you going to step out of it? So thank you to that person that embodied the victimizer. That policeman shining the light and making me all flustered and feeling, oh, I'm such a victim, poor me. Oh my God, it's all their fault. I can't believe. And then feeling like it triggered in me, I'm living in a world that just doesn't honor truthfulness. And it's people are just victimizers, and they're I'm prosecuted and I'm not free, and therefore anyone can make a decision for me. There's this external authority that has more power over me, and therefore I'm hopeless, I'm powerless. And it's if we can take this at the governmental level, and that's mostly where you just start feeling powerless in the way that the world operates, right? So I mean, if you're anything like me, you have multiple things that are shown to you every day, especially on the news, that makes you feel like I am powerless in this world and that someone's going to come. If just thinking about taxes or the IRS or, losing your living space because you couldn't make enough money. There's so many things that are held over us that is you must do what I want you to do or else. And so we're motivated by this fear, by this pressure. But we have choices to decide to step out of that victim mentality, that slave mentality that permeates this planet and this timeline right now. And it's up to us to step out of being slaves. It's up to us stepping out of being in that slave mentality that someone has authority over us, that someone else should speak to God, and that we need to speak to them, some other person, because they know more than us, because some non-physical being that's being channeled by this other person knows more than me, and that I need to go to that connection and that person because I don't have my direct connection to God or source. And it's that self-trust that has been manipulated and abused on this planet and in all of us. And I am sharing this experience because I want to show that even though I'm a person that can be in a lead, that I am stepping into my leadership position. I am owning it, and I'm stepping into my leadership role. I'm taking responsibility for my impact on this planet. I'm taking my responsibility for what I contribute to this world, to my family, to myself. And I am taking responsibility of having that clear relationship with myself. Therefore, I stand as who I want to be in this world. And that if I want the world to change, I must take responsibility for changing the world and for doing the inner work inside of myself to change. And my inner work, where I have to do this, and my key pathway out of the intense situation that I've put myself in, is becoming a leader. Being like that is my resistance. I'm resisting pushing record on this freaking camera and doing this and then posting it and raw, like unediting it, like not edited. And that's my next step, is like, can I post this and not edit? Yeah, welcome to my journey. But I hope that in talking, I obviously there's a part of this that I hope that I'm just gonna, that's a victim. I was gonna say speak like a victim. I need to speak like an empowered person. This is my journey to learn how to speak like an empowered person. And so this experience triggered me coming here and pushing play, because I realized how much of my life and how much of even pushing record on this camera and posting it online, I have felt like a victim. And it is victimhood, and it is the idea of being persecuted by an external authority that's going to tell me that I've done something wrong because I've said something, because I've helped others, because I've done something that my spirit has told me to do and that my guides have, and that because I'm following my guidance and that I'm really connected to who I am and that I'm anchoring that, and I'm encouraging others to be who they are, to live their purpose, and to remember to trust themselves, and that their self-trust is more important than listening to an external authority. And to step out of being a victim, we must learn how to trust ourselves again. And it's returning to that self-trust that you had when you were a child. When you were born, you came into this world knowing that the universe was always going to love and take care of you, that you were a child of divinity, a child of the universe, a child of this planet, this Mother Earth, who's like, you are my child and I will provide and I will take care of you. And that nurturing state, that is what I'm here to encourage others and myself. And I hope in sharing this with others, sharing my journey, my vulnerability, the moments where I'm really having to be truthful with myself, having humility with myself, and sharing my humility with others, because I know that it will help others on their journey to see perhaps the way I see and perceive, and just like in a day-to-day situation, and how just that one moment, like it threw me off, and it threw me off so much that I had to find rebalance. And in order to find rebalance, I had to step back out of the victimhood and be willing to see the blind spot that I had. Because it is in our blind spots that our greatest healing takes place. It is in those uncomfortable things that we don't want to see. That is where your spiritual evolution, that is the pathway of your spiritual evolution. It is not always in the shiny, sparkly, uplifting, ooh la la, like lovely, magical, like those moments are what inspire us to keep moving forward when we hit a blockage in our life, right? Yeah, they inspire me anyway. I want to live that life of free flow remembrance and embodied living and embodied like that medicine. I want to embody the medicine that I'm here to embody. And I want that for you. And even though I've gone around a roundabout and you've seen my machinations of like, this is uncomfortable, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do this anyway. Thank you for your patience and for even watching this. I hope that whatever it is that you came here for, that you clicked on this video, that you were drawn to this video for, I hope and I wish for you for that message and for that gem of knowledge that you are seeking, for you to find that and that it ignite your heart and inspire you on your path and inspire in your life a remembrance of who you are, a knowing that you're going in the right direction, a knowing that you already have all the information within you. You just need people around you that encourage you and support you and say, I trust that you know what's best for you. I trust that you're on your highest divine light path and your soul journey, and it's perfectly right for you. I trust you, and I trust that you trust you. And I love you for it. And you're in the right place at the right time. And the universe is always, my friend says, the universe is always divinely taking care of me or something. And it's so beautiful. And Raymond Gray says, I'm always at the right place at the right time, and I always say the right thing at the right time. Those are good words. Those are good words to tell yourself. And he says to do it, to say it, say positive things to yourself when you're drinking water, because the water is taking on the crystalline form of and the vibration of the words that you are thinking or saying at that moment. So just little pieces, suggestions, little gems along the way. So you've arrived right now to exactly where you've been trying to get to. And I acknowledge you and I see you. And I send you so much love and caring vibes in whatever you're going through and what you're experiencing. And just know that you're experiencing exactly what's perfect for you right now. And it is the mirror, and it is the messages are in the mirror that's being presented to you. So with that, I'm going to end this recording and I'm going to post this up for all of you to see. And I wish you many, many, many good things. And I have only the best intentions and the best of envisionings. And I have images, and I wish that I could just show you the images and the feelings and all of it together and to like send that to you. And for you, those of you that know how to receive in that way, I send you that information in the way that you can receive it. Let's see if that works. Thank you for being on the planet at the same time as me. We're all in this together, and it is up to you and I to change the world. And if we don't change the world, and if you don't change the world, and if I don't change the world, then who is here to change the world? Who are we relying upon and saying, oh, well, someone else is going to do it? It's your and my job. This is what we're here for. It doesn't mean taking on the whole world's problems. I mean, change the world here, and the world around you changes. That is the most important thing for us to do right now. So together, let's change the world. Thank you.